Hello, this is Photography Gamer, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing Lens Island, which launches today on Steam. Lens Island is an action-adventure, crafting, building and farming game developed by Flow Studio. The game is single player only at present. So what is it like to play? Well, you start out by creating your character with a few options for clothing, hair, etc. Then it's off to the island to explore at your own pace. You start your adventure with a basic sword, pickaxe and hatchet for resource gathering and combat. But it's resource gathering that takes up most of the early gameplay. You'll be chopping down trees, smashing rocks, clay, limestone and using your sword to acquire grass fibres. The game also uses a critical hit feature during resource gathering. And when timed correctly, this speeds up the process and it also keeps your brain engaged during the grind of resource gathering. Once you've gathered enough, you can enter the building menu, which is relatively user-friendly and easy to follow. Naturally, you're out in the wilderness without a place to sleep, so the first port of call is to build your first home. You can build house parts using wood, stone, or the more costly ornate designs. You've got utilities, storage items, and even some very nice sort of decorative objects. But mainly, it's to put a bed in so that you can sleep, which allows you to recoup your health and skip the dark nights. Once the house is established, you can also dive into some of the farming options by planting and watering all manner of different seeds. Additional crafting can be done via a workbench and you will learn new recipes, but certain resources are required to unlock these recipes. And this is where the cave diving comes in, as the aforementioned caves have a high volume of precious resources within them. But they also carry darkness and danger, two things you'll have to combat over time. Like the first time you head into the cave, you can't see anything really that well. You don't have a torch, you don't have any coal, so you'll end up just going in and then doing a run-up. But after time passes, you'll get a proper sword that you can craft, you'll have a shield, you'll have a torch, and you'll be able to light lanterns in the caves. These lanterns really help you understand where you've been, but there's also large fires that you can use to replenish your health. And these big fires with the health regeneration really do help in the long run, because there's a lot of enemies down there, there's lots of nests, you've got all sorts of like spiders, large kind of ogre characters, and there's a big volume of them, so quite often you'll fight a little bit, be very close to death, and you'll have to run back to one of the fires just to get yourself back in the game. In general, I found like the cave gameplay to be a nice change of pace. As you know, the surface life, it's very colourful and pleasant, but it is a bit safe and sterile. Mostly, there are some enemies up there, but it's generally quite safe. And it's nice to have a bit of a dangerous expedition every now and again when you get bored of building. Now, in terms of combat, the system, it's solid, I would say, with the ability to block, carry out a few varied strikes depending on the weapon of your choice. But the control system isn't the most fluid or intuitive. You know, it's a mouse and keyboard game, so it is a bit clunky at times. On the surface, again, it's not just wilderness, there are towns. There is a town to visit where you can buy and sell precious resources. Vendors will sell you weapons, offer you new backpacks with better storage. The forests are very lush, colourful, and it's a very pleasant game to explore. Aside from resource gathering, you can fix bridges, rebuild derelict houses, and even play a game of blackjack with a pirate. So on the whole, I found it to be pretty enjoyable, with a nice mix between chilled out life on the surface and the tense cave sections. The only major issue I had with the game were the controls. You see, it's not optimised for controller support at present, which is a shame, I think, as this really would be a lot more pleasurable to play that way. Movement would work so much better with tweener sticks, and the combat and platforming sections in the caves can be very frustrating with its current keyboard mouse system. Graphically, it has a colourful and serene style with soft pastel shades mixed in with simple but cool looking characters. There's also a photo mode of sorts which allows you to capture screenshots of your home and the environment. The sound is well managed with nice detailed ambience and some very soothing music, especially when exploring the wilderness. Okay, what's good and what's bad? What's good? The timing minigame helps make resource gathering more engaging. Building, crafting and farming are well implemented and easy to accomplish. The game world is well thought out with enough secrets and mysteries to keep you interested. The visual and audio style is pleasant, and it's a very playable game ripe for long gaming sessions. What's bad? The controls are quite awkward, and controller support really should have been added as a quality of life improvement. Combat and platforming sections are a bit of a struggle due to that issue. Sadly, there's no multiplayer option, like no co-op, which I think would really help this game, because solo, I have to admit, it does get a little bit tiring resource gathering all the time on your own. And perhaps it needed a little bit more direction in the beginning, as it doesn't really have a substantial story to speak of. So what's the verdict? Lens Island is a game where resource gathering, house building, farming and crafting are well complemented by the cave exploration, which breaks up the monotony of those tasks. It definitely is a game of two halves, with one side having this chilled, relaxed vibe as you meander around, chopping down trees, gathering up stuff to build your house. The other side is the cave diving, which predominantly revolves around combat and slow progression as you light your way through the darkness. But I would say, if you're not into resource gathering in particular, this one might not be for you, as there really isn't any way around it. Everything is tied to what you gather, so bear that in mind before purchasing. Assuming those things aren't an issue, then this is a very playable, easy on the eye, satisfying game. Yes, the combat is a bit cumbersome, and the present keyboard mouse setup isn't perfect, but it's manageable. Controller support would make it a lot more satisfying and accessible for all, but personally I really enjoyed it, and it was hard to put down, even though a lot of the time you're just doing the same stuff. The best compliment I can give it is really that during that kind of repetitive loop, I never really got bored of it. So yes, I would recommend it, not for everyone, but if you enjoy an adventure with some minor grinding and cave diving, then Lens Island is well worth a go. So my score for Lens Island is 8 out of 10. Okay, that was the review. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. This is Photography Gamer signing off. Thank you.